Welcome back to the channel. So we got a wireless hour meter that we're replacing on this Toro 648. The one from Toro is pretty expensive. I found this guy on Amazon. I don't remember exactly how much it was. I'll put a link in the description. The original hour meter just had a single induction wire for the RPMs. And this one needs positive and negative to power it. So we're going to splice into the wiring harness and get us power for this switch. And it's a short run. The key switch is here. The hour meter goes here. I cut the two zip ties that was holding the wire loom in there just so we could get it out and put a clamp on it just to hold it up here. I just took a razor knife and strip the coating off of this. You know, I thought we could do this a couple different ways. I have these connectors. I keep them in stock, but I didn't really want to re-splice this and then try to splice another wire into it. And soldering is a really good means of connecting two wires together. So I just stripped this. I'm going to take the wire wherever it's laying and solder it in here, and then it'll run over here to the switch. So pretty simple thing to do, but just thought it'd be good to get a video of. So just quickly, how you remove one of these connectors from the piece of plastic. So the locking tab is right here on top, so it's pretty easy to see on this one where the locking tab is. Already got it removed. But when you're removing these, if you notice, the locking tab is up here, so there's a little indent. They make special tools for this. This is just a tiny snap-on screwdriver. It works fine too. So I got out the ground cable. I'm going to take out, this is a switched power wire, the pink wire. So you just stick it in there and you can feel it release and it'll pop right out. Usually what I do when I reinsert them back into the connector is I'll just pry this up a little bit just to make sure it gets a good grip when it slides back in there. Obviously keep up with which one this come out of. You wouldn't want to put the ground in where the power wire is. So I'm gonna get this wire stripped and get everything set up and ready to go, and then we'll come back when it's time to solder. So I got our wire stripped. I already got our ground wire in. I just want to show you how doing this. Used a razor knife, stripped off the insulation. I'm just using this small screwdriver and kind of sticking it in the middle of the wire there. And then I'm going to stick this wire through. I want it to go that way, so I'm just going to wrap it around like so. I'm also going to twist this wire a little bit so everything's nice and tight. And I will put a little bit of flux on here. This is just a liquid flux. Put that flux on there, and then we'll solder it together. Get out the old helping hands here, just to kind of hold my wire in place while I solder it. I got this new handy dandy snap-on soldering iron. It is so cool. Works off a 14-4 battery. It's got 3 heat settings, and you have to have your finger here for it to heat up. And it's got some fancy lights on it too. So the first thing, anytime I'm soldering, I start out by tenting the tip, making sure I got some solder on the tip. I don't know if you heard the sizzle there, but most of that was the flux, is what you were hearing. So that one is soldered. I'll take it out, put it in the ground, a little bit of flux on it. You can really see the solder move around when you touch it in there. So you want to get it in enough heat in the wire so you're just putting the solder on the wire, not on the tip. So that looks pretty good. I like it. So now I'm gonna let that cool off for a minute, and then we'll come back with heat shrink and put some heat shrink over this to help protect it and hold the wires together. Luckily, this heat shrink's big enough to fit over the terminal. Just gonna use this to kind of hold it up so I can use the torch to shrink the heat shrink. Snap-on torch 300, super cool little torch. So it's got a safety back here, but it locks open. You can control your flame too. Turn it, woo, don't turn it down too much. But it is adjustable. So I'm gonna use it for our heat shrink here. And then to turn it off, you just hit the button on the back right there and it turns it off. So we got everything wired up. The rest of the story behind this, so I bought this hour meter and we put it in, we just hooked up the one wire and everything seemed to work fine for, I don't know how long it's been in there. I mean, it seems like maybe even a year. But anyway, now the display wasn't working, so we were looking at it and we noticed that it's got the power and negative. So we just hooked those up, and now when you turn on the key switch, it powers on. It's got a backlit display and it goes to the hours on both spots. I'm gonna start it up and where you can see the RPMs. So with it running, the backlight comes on, 1400 RPMs. Throttle it all the way up, 3300. Back to idle. And then we turn the switch off, the display goes off. So hopefully this will help you out. Until next time, see you, bye.